I'm Kayla Keith, and this is Missing Midwest. Today's story is another one featured on the Runaway Train song we've been talking about. A missing 17-year-old last seen on New Year's Eve. Was he running away, or was he met with foul play?
I forgot about this.
Right? I know.
The Runaway song.
So, whose case was it that we talked about the Runaway Train song? We just did, was it last week's?
Yeah.
Yeah, last week we talked about it. Okay, so I told you that I might find some. I found a couple cases that were featured on that song.
Wow.
And so it's interesting. So
yeah, it's crazy that they focus so much on that for a music video.
Yeah, they said that they were talking about it, and that's what one of the producers decided, and one of the band members was like, "That will be awesome. Let's do it." And it was just the entire music video is just faces of kids.
They're missing.
And they actually had a version of it in the UK, in Britain. And is Britain and UK the same thing?
Yeah, I think so. I'm only 90% sure.
It was British, I know that, but it was all British kids, and so they there's a couple of versions of the song. I think there's a Canadian one too.
Interesting.
And it's all the people missing, and so a lot of them. It's called Runaway Train, and so a lot of them are suspected runaways, but there's some of them that I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. So.
Yeah.
We are going, do we have announcements?
Just a few announcements,
okay.
Right quick.
Go
I'm going
ahead.
to be very fast, okay? Shout out to our boy, Cody. He just graduated.
He did.
From IUK, and he is on a trip with his family this week, so we are giving him the week off. So as far as the ads go, I'm just going to give a couple shout outs to our sponsors. Thank you, Nick from State Farm. Thank you, Stacy Westfall. She's a realtor with Apple Tree Realty. Shout out to Bo Digital and everything that they've done, what they've been with us through, all 40,000 of our downloads so far. Big shout out to them. And, of course, the Jefferson House of Flowers. Appreciate you guys. Outside of that announcement, I'm ready to get to your case. I'm not going to drag it out anymore. Let's go.
Are you going to ask them to review us?
Yeah, we could use some reviews. It helps us with the podcast rankings.
Okay, we're going to talk about John Francis Lango today. We're going to Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Pottsville. All right.
That's what I said too. Population 13,000. You have a guess on the Dollar Generals?
3.
2.
There you go.
2 Dollar Generals.
All right.
I just was researching a case. Spoiler alert. I don't know when. I have a lot of cases done. I don't know when this one will go, but legit, they had $36 Generals.
That's a lot of
Dollar
Generals.
Whoa, these people got it going. I was in the Midwest, and it was a big city.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, I was like, checks out, but geez, that would take me a very long time to get to all those Dollar Generals. Anyway, we really need to get Dollar General to sponsor us, but here we are. Anyway, John Lango, he was super friendly, very popular dude, okay? He had tons of friends. He was very loyal. More than one person said he was a very loyal friend, which I feel like is just a great friend to have.
Yeah, heck yeah.
He played baseball, and he loved to ride his bike around. He was best friends with a guy named David, and he said they were together all the time. They played video games. They went roller skating. They rode their bikes around town. There was a local roller skating rink they spent a lot of time at. As John got older, his interests evolved.
Girls.
What?
I mean, just it was an interest that I took up when I got older.
It didn't say girls in there, but I'm sure that probably happened.
Forgive me.
He really liked nice clothes, and he was into shoes. He always had the trendy shoes. They said sneakers in my research, and I was wondering if do you guys say sneakers over there on the East Coast? Is that a thing?
Maybe so. I mean, it's Pennsylvania. It's not quite the East Coast. It's more East Coast than we are, obviously.
Well, it's east of here. Do you guys say sneakers?
I guess
I don't know. I just saw it more than one. I was like, why are they saying sneakers?
Maybe. I mean, I've heard it used.
Tennis shoes. He loved listening to music, and his favorite was LL Cool J.
Okay.
They said in all of the interviews he would do anything for the people that he loved. And so he just seemed like a really cool guy. So we're going to January 1st, 1988. December 31st, January 1st, okay? So John was just 1 month shy of turning 18. Okay? And this is New Year's Eve, 1987. And he was with his girlfriend at the time. Her name was Kristen. And they were having a fight, a little spat, if you will. They both wanted to celebrate New Year's Eve at different places. So he wanted to.
We've literally had that fight before.
Yeah, that's right.
Because my parents always had a party at their house, and your parents had parties at
their
their
house. Yeah,
house.
we always wanted to go separate places. Yeah. Okay, so she wanted to spend the night with her friends in a neighboring town called Port Carbon. But John was hoping that they would spend the night together in Pottsville. And so that's not how it turned out. Kristen ended up going with her friends without John. And so they were upset with each other. They probably weren't texting about it, though, in 1988. And so they just went their separate ways. So there are some different reports of what happened that night, but mainly this is the consensus, okay? So John, in the early hours of January 1st, so like I said, reports are a little inconsistent, but here we go. John's brother, Timothy, he told a reporter that John was at a party in St. Clair, like, earlier in the night, which is another small town, which is like 10 minutes away from Pottsville, okay? Now, around 11 o'clock that night, he went back to his house with his friend. This friend lived just down the street from his house, okay? And so, December 31st, 11 o'clock, we are leaving a party and going back to John's house with a friend. Okay. After this is where things get a little fuzzy, okay? So apparently there was some sort of disturbance at John's house that night. Some reports say it was a disturbance. Some say it was an altercation, but John was not involved in it. It was other people. I don't know if it was his parents or his family or whatever, but like John, like he was not involved, but he walked out the front door because of this altercation.
So a bunch of other people live in this house, I'm assuming?
I could not really find like who lived in the house. I assume it's his family. He was 18 at the time, so I suppose he could have moved out. I do not know. I could not find that information. Now, Timothy's his brother, okay, and he has said that the altercation had to do with John's friend and some other people that lived in the house, okay? Like, John wasn't a part of it. But there was no specifics of who it was.
Gotcha.
And so the next thing, this disturbance was not directly like related to John or John leaving the house earlier that night. Like when they left, him and his friend earlier that night, they were going to that party. That wasn't because of the altercation. Like, this is just completely separate. It happened when they got back that night, okay?
Okay.
And so...
I mean, I have so many questions, but it sounds like...
I got more. Okay. Hold on, okay? So Timothy has said that there was something else that might have indicated or been a reason that John left as well. He said that there was a phone call that happened, and so Tim has said, like, to this day, he doesn't know who called the house that night or that it was of any significance at all. He just knows that his big brother, John, answered the phone, and then he left. And the altercation happened in there too. So he's always just like remembered that piece of information, but he doesn't know if it's related.
Interesting. I mean, when you're thinking back on the night like that, you probably think like everything's related or nothing's related.
Yeah,
like,
and so he's like, phone call, mild disturbance, my brother walks out the door.
Yeah.
But he does not know if any of them are connected, okay? Now, Tim said that his brother John walked out the door, down the street, and got into a car that was waiting there. And he was only 10 years old at this time. So, like, we're dealing with a 10-year-old's memory here, okay? But according to him, it was a dark color car. Possibly a Monte Carlo or a Chevy Caprice. He's not sure.
He was 10. Fair enough.
But that was the last time that John was ever seen, was when he left their house. And it was just after midnight on January 1st.
Man.
So... I don't know if, like, Timothy, I assume that maybe he thinks the phone call was the reason he left the house because the car was waiting there.
I mean, I'd be pretty mad if somebody in my family had, like, a big beef with, like, a friend that I brought over.
Or I don't know.
But, yeah. I mean, so the friend left too?
Yeah, so, I'm actually, no, I said that. I assume so, but John, when he left, was by himself.
Okay.
So Timothy remembers that John this wasn't normal for him to go off without like on his own a lot or without some sort of like check-in with. Yeah, he like would always let his family know. He said he definitely would have told their mom where he was going and when he was going to be back, or if he had like plans to like be gone for the night or spend the night somewhere or be anywhere. Like he said he just always checked in. He was very considerate about stuff like that,
responsible.
But he said when he left that night, like he didn't say anything to anybody. And when he did not come back the next morning, his parents immediately knew something was wrong. So I'm assuming he lived with his mom. That's safe to say. But now his mom, her name was Mary, and she's the one that ended up reporting him missing the next day to the Pottsville Police Department. At first, he's a runaway. He's 18, or he's 17, almost 18.
Right. Close enough for the police, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't like very concerning to them. That he would leave without telling his parents.
I mean, to me at this point, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like that's a factor to me.
Yeah, and so there was no like major like attempt to like locate him at this point. The police didn't really do a whole bunch. The police officers checked in with other family members and like his friends around town. Like it's this kind of like a small town. They're just kind of like checked in. To see if he like showed up, like was found asleep on somebody's couch the next morning, like it is New Year's Eve.
I feel like that's very fair considering the circumstances.
I do too. However, his parents were not having it. They were like, no, and they immediately started hanging up missing person flyers all over town.
On day one, January 1st.
Yep.
Wow.
On January 6th, the local newspaper ran a missing persons alert for John Lango.
Wow.
They said he was 6'1", he was 185 pounds, he had red hair and blue eyes, and when he left home that night, he was wearing jeans, a red and white dress shirt, a gray jacket, and a pair of white sneakers. In 2021, John's brother Tim did an interview, and he said, I believe if they would have treated it as foul play in 1988, we would have solved the case.
Wow.
But they did not. They never did.
I mean, that first day to me is nothing. 6 days, that's when you...
They never treated it as foul play. They always have said he is a runaway. He's considered a runaway. He walked out his front door, and he never walked back through the front door of his home. His 18th birthday came and went. His case received like almost zero media attention after that newspaper article. For the next 5 years, John's family waited for something to happen or a tip or anything, even some sort of lead. Nothing.
Man.
Literally, they never got any help. Nobody did anything until in 1993 when the rock group Soul Asylum released the first edition, which I said there's like many editions of it after the first release, but it was called the Runaway Train. Now 20 years have went by, like obviously no answers, and now somewhere along the line in there, the authorities have changed that John Lango was not missing by choice.
Okay, so
but like
officially,
too late. Yeah, but like
what
because there was no activity on his social security number. No activity with like phones or bank cards or anything like that. No sightings of him. One of his friends apparently suggested in an interview with the police that he might have ran away to start a life in New York City. But the police have talked to the police in New York, and he had some friends that lived in New York City, and they never saw him or anything. So maybe that kind of played into why police, if a friend said that,
yeah.
Geez, if you're gonna label someone a runaway just because one friend offhandedly said maybe he ran away, come on.
I mean, you're grabbing at straws though, because it's just there's just nothing.
Yeah, I mean, so John did leave his prized possession at home. He had a pair of new Adidas sneakers. Man. And his entire family, everybody said if he was going to start a new life, he would not have started it without those. Man. So like I said, eventually they did update his case to endangered missing instead of runaway. But too late.
I was going to say,
come on. You
we missed
didn't.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how important it is when someone's missing. The first 24 hours are obviously the most important, and those first days they just said he ran away and they didn't do anything. They have said in recent reports that they've been following up on tips that have came in over the last years, and they've chased down leads, but they've never like found anything substantial, not even remotely substantial, that could tell them what happened to John that night. They're hoping that with more advancements in like DNA and stuff, they have made sure that John's profile is like on file, and like his, I'm assuming they've gotten DNA from like his family members and stuff, and so they have it in case any remains show up. But no, they have never found anything. In 2008, there was like a John Doe found in Arizona, and his age progression kind of matched John, and so they did a sample, but they matched it, but it wasn't him. Yeah, crazy, right?
So I'm just trying to imagine, like, so they never pinpointed who it was that he got in the car with.
Nope.
So then either someone is lying, or he like had connections with people that people didn't know. Like, those are the options.
So in 2020,
those are the only options.
Yeah. So in 2021, Captain Glenn Dove has started working on this case again from the Pottsville Police Department. Okay, and he revealed a new detail that said, according to like more than one witness, John was seen after he got in that car at a bush party just outside of Pottsville that night. In New England, apparently they are called pit parties or bush parties. Here it's called a bonfire.
I was like, what are we talking about?
It's apparently it's a party in a field or the woods, in a kind of a remote location, which I said that's a Midwest bonfire.
I was gonna say
we go to fields. We go to a field and we have a bonfire.
Yeah.
Apparently there was one that night. Now the detective did not say, couldn't or wouldn't say, I don't know which one. He would not say where the party happened or who was there, or if John was seen leaving. Like all of these questions that you have, like I know you're thinking them.
Right.
I was asking them. Like he would not say who was there. Did he leave the party? Where the party was? But he did say he has more than one person that places John at this party.
Okay.
So that means that the trail did not end when he got in that car,
right,
like they originally thought. So Timothy, the brother, he believes that there's definitely people out there. He says he believes multiple people that could answer all of these questions.
Woof.
He said, and this is a big accusation, he said he thinks the people who John considered friends. And he said he doesn't normally discuss the rumors that he's heard because it just like resurfaces all these like bad things. But apparently there's something there, like a local rumor.
I mean, he's salty about it for sure.
Yeah, and so there's another rumor. So like I said, Timothy said he doesn't like to discuss the rumors he's heard, but he did do one interview, and he did talk about one rumor that he heard. Okay, he said that he heard that John went to another party that night, which checks out because the detective said that they have witnesses that saw him there. But this one was actually at the railroad tracks, and that something happened to John there. He said that, and he believes that he was accidentally murdered and the people there covered it up. But he said this is obviously nothing that's been confirmed. This is all just like bits and pieces of rumors that he's heard. But he said he has just a gut feeling that this was like a bad party and this is what happened. Like that's what the brother, like his brother believes that he was murdered. Again, he was 10.
He was 10, right? Like Timothy, you're talking about. This is the one saying this. He was 10. So it's like that's just. Unfortunately, that's what you had probably hear parents talking about. You hear other people talking about. Like he didn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
and hard. Well, this is like him in an interview now, like in 2020.
Right, but I mean, like it's not like he thought. No. It's not like he knew that when it happened.
He's had how many? 36. He's been missing for 36 years now. Like he's had a long time.
That's so tough.
To hear all the rumors and stuff, and so I mean, I don't feel like that's a runaway situation. I think he was poorly labeled as a runaway at the beginning because of his age. But I mean, come on.
The first day, even the second day, like,
I can understand.
I don't bat an eye at the police reaction.
No.
But when you start turning 3 into 4 and then a week.
Well, it's like if the police invest, which it's sad, but we've said before, the police are human. There's not that many of them, and they don't have the time or the resources to investigate every single 18-year-old that didn't come home last night. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine if they did that?
Yeah.
Which sucks because
Every
a
once in a
small
while.
percentage of them are truly in danger.
Yeah.
Or something bad happened to them. But there's just not enough law enforcement to look into every single missing 18-year-old.
Man.
But I think in this case, I don't think he ran away. Like he said, he was just based off what everybody said, like, he wasn't depressed. He wasn't, like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like a runaway situation.
Well, and it's like, too, he was trying to hang out with his girlfriend that night. So it's not like this was like a planned runaway thing.
Yeah, no, he was upset with her that she didn't hang out with him.
Like if she would have hung out with him,
yeah.
I'm sure this is hard for her to understand, but like,
yeah,
if she would have hung out with him, he wouldn't have
went
left.
to that party.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think he definitely, if I had to guess, the phone call was an invitation to go hang out to that second party. And that's why the car was waiting there. The altercation probably just happened.
Yeah.
And was absolutely not related to anything. And he actually was just leaving to go to
probably
that
just
party.
Like further like, yeah, I'm leaving tonight.
Yeah.
If
sure.
anything.
Yeah. Glad my friend is picking me up.
Yeah.
These people are fighting. I'm out of here. Yeah, so I don't know, but I read a lot of interviews from like his mom and his brother, and like I don't think he would have left without telling his mom what he was doing.
I would say that my theory is strongly he was met with foul play at that second party, and that's why nobody's coming forth between saying like, oh, this is who we got, and then
which is crazy to me that many people have been able to keep a secret this long. Come on.
Yeah. Jeez.
Like, say something.
It's like what, 35, 40 years ago, almost
36, I think.
36, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, I definitely think this is another case of someone knows something.
I would agree.
As of 2021, and I'm sure still now, they're still looking into it. They believe that someone knows something in this case, and they're just waiting for the right person to come forward and give them what they need to bring this family closure.
Wow. Man, that's tough. Whew. All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for listening. Really consider that $5 subscription. You're going to get access to about 80 other murdered episodes. And those come out with a new one every single week. So I was just going to add to that total, but there's a whole bunch of good ones out there. This past one that we did yesterday, crazy lady, I got to do it again, and I chose another wife that did it. No probably whatsoever. What? She was crazy.
Was she crazy or did he deserve it?
Oh my gosh.
It's fine.
Regardless.
I understand. There's some crazy women out there too.
All right.
It's just statistically, it's usually
okay. Statistically.
It's okay. You can find the few women that did it.
Okay. I did.
Can't wait.